Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, Larry W. Brooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations.
What's up, Prime Real Estate Network listeners? It's your man, Larry W. Brooks, a.k.a. the Texas Real Estate King. Hey, when you get a moment, go ahead and go over to shoplwb.com. You can see the Pure Hustle merchandise that we have over there, some of our newer items that we have in stock, and of course, I got all the books that I've authored. I'd love for your support. You have a great day.
Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick. Follow me on social media. I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in the lovely city of Houston, you can reach me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you this week, just like it is every week here on the Prime Real Estate Network. And I want to invite everyone in the audience to get involved in today's show. Get into the comments section. If you're checking us out live on YouTube or Facebook, you can leave myself or the Texas Real Estate King a relevant real estate question, and you never know, your question may very well be answered on today's show. I want to thank him in advance for sitting in with us this week, just like he does every week, and I want to take some time to introduce my co-host. He is not only a highly successful real estate broker, he's a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, proud proprietor of the Pure Hustle clothing brand, and now affectionately known throughout the city of Houston as Larry Brooks' dad. I'd like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. What's going on, my brother?
I like how you choked me up with that last one. I'm affectionately known as Larry. I'm known as his dad now.
Dad now, brother. That ain't your new name out here.
That's funny, man. Listen, that cat ain't walking in these footsteps I got just yet, man. But I do like the way that I like that twist that you put on the introduction. That was
hey, look, if it ain't happened to you yet, bro, you just be patient. I get that thing another 6 months. You gonna be Larry's dad.
I am definitely on board with being patient, man. No doubt about it. Because if that journey takes the idea where his step in front of mine, listen, that means that I did my job. I'm doing my part.
That's a blessing and a half, brother. Good to have you on the show this week, man. I just had to make sure I mess with you a little bit, man. So proud of everything your little daddy got going. We've been seeing you posting, seeing the award show, seeing him at the banquet, man, and that's all I can think about. Yeah. I was like, I wonder how many people is there like, oh, you're Larry's dad. Because the more you go to his activities, man, you're going to start to see that their personas are starting to grow. Yeah. And that there's so many people in the community that just have a stake and are taking notice. So just big huge shout out to everything y'all got going with the family, man. So that's really a good look.
Hey man, it's fun, man. I was actually laughing at that kid the other day. He was out there washing his truck, you know what I'm saying? And it was his first time physically washing his truck itself, or first time washing his truck itself, his new truck. And it was just I asked him, I say, son, you didn't look at the weather? I said, you need at least 2 to 3 days to get a good value out of washing the automobile, because it started raining while he was doing it. So, it tickled me. So, but we live and we learn, but the experience of it has been really, really good, man. So no doubt about it.
Hey, man, for everybody who don't follow you on IG at Texas Real Estate King, and I don't know what they tripping off of, give my man a follow on Instagram. But could you let those few people who don't follow you know what's been going on this week in the world of the Texas Real Estate King? What's been going on over at Brooks and Davis?
Man, that's a great segue, Rick. Everything's been going smooth, man. So, of course, over here at Brooks and Davis, we're always continuing to level up when it comes to our training opportunities for new agents. So we're doing well. I think we're bringing in close to 12 new agents this month. So bringing them in, getting them motivated, getting them trained up, getting them to hitting their goals. And so when I tell people about their goals, I'm talking about you may have gotten into real estate because you wanted to change your family dynamics. You may have gotten into real estate because you want to do it part-time and just make a check here or there. You may have gotten into it because you want to be able to manage your own real estate investment portfolio at some point coming in as a licensee. And so, here at Brooks and Davis, we do take the time to keep teaching, coach, and train our agents in and up on all of those things, man. Matter of fact, at the West location today, we have a title company that's going to be sponsoring Lunch and Learn that'll be taking place shortly after the podcast. So, what can I say? For those of you that are looking to get into the real estate industry, you want to coach, you want to mentor, and you want training opportunities that's going to allow you to get to the next level. We invite you to join us. Those of you that are already in the industry and you feel like you've hit your peak and you're kind of stuck, we invite you to come take a look at what we got going on. Come take a test drive in the Brooks and Davis vehicle and see what it is that we offer agents that allow their business to explode. So, other than that, man, that's just all I've been involved. That's all I've been putting all my energy into, right?
And look, you mentioned the new agents that's signing up to be a part of the team. Big, huge shout out to them. But I also want to give a huge shout out to everyone over at Champions Real Estate School.
Yep.
We had the opportunity and the pleasure of making appearances on all the Champions Real Estate campuses during their career fair. I want to thank them so much for inviting us in. I was able to stop by and personally meet with those new graduates over at the Highway 6 location, man. I look forward to meeting with them. Those who have already decided to come over and join the Brooks and Davis family, big huge shout out to you all. Anyone that was there or that is a graduate of Champions Real Estate School, reach out to Mr. Larry W. Brooks or myself. We can get you set up, man, and introduce you to the Brooks and Davis real estate family, man. So
definitely a shout out to Champions, man. I did my education there. You did your education there. This is actually this book right here behind me was written by Rita Santa Maria, the founder of Champion School of Real Estate, and I'm actually featured on chapter 5. She talks about how I built out the Brooks and Davis brand and what that looks like for us right now and the growth behind it. So definitely Champion School of Real Estate is a favorite. And hey, what can I say, brother?
Oh no, man, appreciate that. Big huge shout out, man. Today's episode, Mr. Brooks, you mentioned a little bit about the new agents that's joining the brokerage. And one of the things that at our brokers that we take a lot of pride in that you mentioned was the education and training. But all of that is meant to help you level up and build your business and take your real estate brand to the next level, which is everything about this week's guest and what she does for those in the entrepreneurial community. So for those in our audience, Larry, could you just talk a little bit about how you were introduced to this week's guest and how you were able to gain her commitment to sit in on this week's show?
Yeah, man, I honestly like to say, man, I appreciate her. It was not a struggle backwards and forth. We identified some dates and she was like, yeah, I could do it. Actually had the opportunity of meeting this guest, I would probably say about 4 to 5 years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, just depending on this timeline. But you all and I guess may remember I was running for a Urban CEO award, and that award and everything actually took place in Atlanta. And today's guest was also one of the award recipients back then as well. So of course, with networking and socializing and with the ability of social media nowadays, I always followed her journey, kept up with her, and I know that she's been executing some amazing things. And so I just wanted to bring her on the platform just so she can express, what she's been having going on. I want our audience to be able to reach out and touch her because we do have a strong Atlanta base. And so, man, I'm just excited to have her here. And shout out to past podcast guest, the CEO of Urban, Miss Taria Avant too. So shout out to our alumni. But that is today's guest in a nutshell is just someone that I've just had an opportunity to watch continue to grow and knock it out the ballpark. And just excited to just have her on the show today.
Man, appreciate that. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce this week's guest. She is not only a highly respected author, she is also a certified personal life coach and entrepreneur. I want to thank her so much for sitting in on the Prime Real Estate Network show. And I'd like to introduce to our audience, Miss Angie Renee. How are you?
Hello. I am good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
rocking the blonde hair, Angie. How long you been rocking the blonde?
I actually go blonde, Larry, every 2 years. So I just got it back like a month ago.
Okay. I know that, I've been noticing the color changes and all that.
Yeah,
I know it'd be a rock backwards and forwards, just depending on the mood, depending on if it's summer
yeah,
or if it's fall. I didn't know.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Angie, I want to thank you for so much for sitting in with us. And Larry and I are so excited to have the luxury and the opportunity to interview you today. For the members of our audience who are meeting you for the first time, can you introduce yourself, your brand, and let our audience know what it is that you all do and the services that you provide?
Okay. Well, my name is Angie Renee, and I used to have my own publishing company. And I kind of just pivoted a little bit. So I just decided to coach women more on a personal level, just on feeling better about themselves and being the best versions of them that they can be. Outside of a man, outside of being a mom, outside of, you know what I mean? Just being the best versions of them. Because a lot of times we put everyone before ourselves, you know what I mean? So that's what I do.
One of the great things that I learned about you researching not only you personally, but also your brand is that you provide your clients with those keys to unlock their full potential, to truly rediscover their why. How often do you find with professionals and business owners that you have to really go through those basics with them as far as establishing what it is that they're doing, what motivates them, and why is it that they get out of the bed every morning? As a professional, how often do you see those successful professionals sometimes lose focus and get out of stride as far as their why?
They definitely get out of stride, Rick. And I think it's primarily because it's all about the money. You know what I mean? They forget everything. Especially, I'm just gonna say it, especially Black women. It's all about the money, 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 money. How many degrees can I get? How much money can I make? I don't need this. I don't need that. I'm just, you know what I mean? And it sometimes it's combative. A lot of times it's combative. It's just really just taking the time to sit them down and get them out of their own head, because it's so much more to life. Yes, we need money. Don't get it twisted, right? Absolutely. But there's so much more to life than chasing it. Because if you're constantly chasing it, you can't enjoy it.
That's right.
So,
Angie, when you make that, when I think about that, do you see that as a progression as we get more mature in life, or is that something that with today's social media society that it brings in or rushes into a woman's life a lot sooner than it did in the past? Like, what are your thoughts on like the relevancy of the age line or anything like that with that?
Man, the age line, I think it makes a difference. I think social media is a huge factor.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, if I'm just scrolling, especially on Twitter, if I'm just scrolling, Gen Z,
yeah,
I'm talking about, they feel like, oh my God, and this is true. I'm not even exaggerating. Oh my God, I'm about to be 25. Like, man, it's like, girl,
yeah.
what are you talking about? The pressure.
Yeah.
It's out of here. They really feel like 25 and 30 is old.
He's old.
They
It's
do.
done. That's crazy.
They do. It's like, oh my God, let me hurry up.
Yeah.
Like, let me hurry up. I mean, because look, I only have my apartment right now.
Yeah.
I need to hurry up and purchase a home. I need to hurry up and do this. I need to hurry.
Yeah.
We're 25.
Yeah.
Or not even.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And kids is like really out the question for a lot of them. A lot of them don't even want children, because it's the chase. It's the chase to, I have this. Let me show it on social media. This is what I have accomplished at 25 or 30. You know what I mean? Without being, married or just whatever. It's all about, let me show you what I have. It's definitely something that I've noticed. It's more with the younger ones. However, there's a lot of millennials and even Gen X that got a little of that too, that kind of got it twisted. And it's chasing a timeline with many of us as well. You know what I mean? I don't have any kids and I'm 40. I'm not married and I'm 40. Oh my God, no one wants me. I'm considered old. And that's because they're watching social media.
Nice.
Women and men are getting married in their 40s and 50s every day. But because social media has told them no one wants you, especially if you're a woman. No one wants you, girl. You old. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the pressure. It's nuts. But to answer your question, I highly believe that social media it's a huge factor. Huge.
You know, it's and I know you got another question, Rick. I'm good, but I was just thinking, man, it's crazy because we grew up in an era where social media is well, not just social media, but we had the best of both worlds, right? We had a chance to live life a little bit before, you know, phones and social media took over our life, and then we had the opportunity of seeing what it looks like. So we actually have the maturity to be able to know the difference between the real and the fake when it comes along with it, right? And the opportunities that it can bring you by just being able to touch maybe resources or people that you used to couldn't touch, and you know, in our time when you had to dial or make them phone calls. But I just was thinking that to myself as we thought about that. Just I have an 18-year-old son, and he's never gonna, outside of the stories that I get to tell him, he's not gonna ever understand what it's like to not be able to see me on the phone or FaceTime me if he chose to, right? Like I remember being young and they were talking about one day we're gonna be able to see each other on the phone. What? Impossible.
Like, yeah,
and,
right.
And then we have that era that takes place. So
you know, one of the great things about having you on to talk about this particular subject is because one of the things as business owners that we all have to combat is work-life balance.
Yes.
How to put in enough time professionally to achieve all your professional goals while at the same time investing the necessary time required to build lasting personal relationships, to help build the family. If you're single, the amount of time that it takes to actually build relationships where you can decide if you want to come together with another individual.
Right.
So how often do you have to remind your clients that you're not just talking from a position of judgment, but you're actually talking from a position of experience? And for those who are meeting you on our show for the first time, could you talk a little bit about your life before you began your practice, what you did professionally, and what motivated you to make that transition? Because I think there's some people in our audience who worked with you before, but may not value the evolutionary path that you took to become the woman that they've met and that they're working with.
Well, what I did before I became an entrepreneur, I actually was in retail. I was in retail management, and I worked at the airport in Atlanta. And
shout out to the biggest airport in the country.
Man, and the busiest, definitely the busiest. And I worked there for 7 years, y'all. And just working there, it's like, that's literally all I was doing. I was just working, paying bills. I didn't really have, I guess I had dreams per se, but not knowing actually how to step out and go about achieving those dreams when I was working back then. And how I got into entrepreneurship is, this is actually funny. A lot of people don't know this, is I actually started doing network marketing.
Okay.
And if y'all know anything about network marketing, you know that first those first couple of meetings where you just wowed and you know all of that.
Them Thursday meetings have you feel like you can run through brick walls. You got
it's like you say how much, like what I gotta do, right? And so that's how I was introduced to it on a serious level. Because, you know, at this time I was, you know, well in my 20s, of course. And I was still working my job. I did not quit my job. I, you know, was in a network marketing company. But what I learned, you all, was the personal development.
Man.
Right? That is the key to everything.
Yep.
And I didn't know anything about personal development. I read books, but I didn't really know anything about the power of personal development and, you know, just building yourself up. That's how I was first introduced to that. You know, the books and, you know what I mean? All of that.
People experiencing it, right? Like you're in the room with people that can talk it and break it down. It's, I was just to add to what you're saying, and when I meet with new realtors or new entrepreneurs, I'm like, that's the secret sauce of an industry like that, because you have peers and people around you that like y'all are feeding off of each other's energy.
Yes.
So I'm like, that's like going to church on a good Sunday. And you didn't drop the word the way you needed, and you hypersensitive and blessed all week because of that. So it's like,
absolutely, it was a game changer for me, and it was an eye opener. I had never, even knew anything about that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, as a child, my granny sold Avon, but it wasn't.
Avon
you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like. So, just to get introduced to personal development and all of that, it changed my mindset completely. It wasn't even necessarily about the company at that point anymore. I had a little bit of success with the company, but it triggered something inside of me. And like I said, I still was working. And one day I was like, because I mean, it wasn't like I was just making all the money in the world. I was just working to pay bills. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm about to quit this job. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to quit this job. I had started my my publishing company in 2014. But I still was, I was working it part-time, you know what I'm saying? But still working, the job. And then finally 2 years later, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go all in with my business. I'm going to go all in.
Yep.
And that's what I did. Yep. That's what I did. And
that's the reward. That's how that's the statement that everyone makes. You, once you dive all the way in, then you sacrifice the safety net, and you either lock in and focus on making that work to the best of its ability, or maybe it wasn't meant for you. So when you lock in,
I didn't have a choice at that time, because I mean, I live in Atlanta, but I'm not from Atlanta, so I don't have any family here. It was just my daughter and I. She was very young at the time, so it was like, I didn't have a choice. I made it to where like that fire was up under my butt for real. Yeah, like you got to make it happen, or else you're gonna be back in St. Louis with your mom.
Wow.
Something that you and Larry mentioned that's really powerful, and I want to make sure I bring this back up in our interview, is that you guys initially were introduced as part of the Urban CEO Awards program. And the great thing about Urban CEO, and Larry and I talk about this a lot on this show, is that it shows the power of professional networking. Getting out of your comfort zone, not being afraid to travel, and being in a room with other like-minded business people, professionals. So our audience here is Larry and I talk about the power of networking all the time. But from your standpoint, Angie, could you talk about how much you were able to gain from being a part of Urban CEO, what you gained from professional networking, and how that's helped you in your professional development, being around other people who are as focused and goal-oriented as yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, networking at any event is definitely key, and just paying attention to people too, because I can kind of be a little bit introverted. It has to be something about a person that makes me want to connect with them far beyond what their profession is, far beyond how much success they've had, far beyond, the money that they've made. There has to be something else. And that's just me personally. I mean, I am in Atlanta, and if you all know anything about Atlanta, so it's going to take more than the regular for me to even want to connect with you. And again, that's at any event, whether it's the Urban CEO event, any event, the Earn Your Leisure event that they have, the Invest Fest. And I haven't even been there yet, by the way.
And it's in your city. They hosted in your city the last 3 years, going into the fourth year. I've been three. I'm gonna be there this year as well. I just actually purchased my ticket. I enjoy the networking of it, but it's like you said.
Listen, I already know, but I haven't been yet, and I may go.
If you go this year, you're gonna find it hilarious. But you're in Atlanta, so you're gonna already know, right? So
Larry.
When I went to the first one, I was like, why does everybody in Atlanta got a camera crew with them? Like everybody's a celebrity that needs a camera crew.
Again, I haven't been yet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave it at that. Larry just said everything. Sometimes you get again, I live here. So for me, it's like,
Yeah.
here we go. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I can only imagine. I'm
The
telling you. So
pretentiousness of it all. Like,
yeah.
all right, okay. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna go 1 year.
When you're
No, that's great. No, I just wanted to make sure we talked about that. And it's funny because um, one of the great things about hosting this particular show with Larry is that we do have an insight into not only professionally what it takes to build a real estate brokerage, but also the networking aspect of brand building.
Yes.
People who follow us online, follow Larry on social media, have opportunity to see him in Atlanta at InvestFest, doing things like being part of the Urban CEO Awards Gala. And it just shows those in our audience how when you're building a real estate practice or any other entrepreneurial venture, it's going to take more than what you see on social media.
Yes.
To your earlier point. And
Yes.
I think that's what we try to do here is expose our audience to those who are genuinely in the entrepreneurial space, who they can follow on social media, take tidbits from and best practices.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we ask you this, Angie. So for those in our audience that have totally enjoyed your energy, have felt like they want to be a part of your movement, can you talk to them about how they can follow you on social media, how they can schedule a business consultation with you, and how they can tap in with you and be a part of your movement?
Absolutely. So I actually have 2 pages. My main page is, of course, The Real Angie Renee. It's just spelled all the way out at The Real Angie Renee. Right now, I am starting my YouTube channel and podcast, Angiology Show. So that is my other page for that. And just to kind of let you all know what Angiology is, it's literally the opinions and thoughts of me about everything, whether it's relationships, business, it doesn't matter. I'm very witty. I like to make people laugh. I like to, talk stuff. And sometimes I may even ruffle your feathers, but it's all in love and it's all in edutainment is what I like to call it, because you are being educated and you're being entertained at the same time. You can, if you would like to reach out to me, you can simply go to angiology.com in the contact and just, shoot me an email, or you even can just DM me on either one of my pages. I check them regularly, whether it's The Real Angie Renee or Angiology Show. Just shoot me a DM. I'm not funny acting. I'm even the person, if you may see me out in these Atlanta streets and you say something, I will speak back. I'm not one of those people.
I definitely agree. She will definitely speak back. And you're right, because sometimes in them Atlanta streets, you attractive women out there, it's tough. Like y'all don't see it the same. So definitely you are a people person for the most part. I definitely agree.
No, I mean, I'm really I didn't know you were from St. Louis until you just mentioned that. So that does explain a lot about your welcoming spirit. Yeah. And how sometimes in the hustle and bustle of Atlanta, someone can see you and your energy just is a little bit different. So absolutely, I know the warmth that comes from a Midwestern upbringing. So absolutely, I want to urge everyone in our audience to tap in with you. And like you just mentioned, if they see you in Atlanta, it's so many people from St. Louis and the Midwest who've transplanted to Atlanta that if they would like someone who may be of like mind and may have similar experiences culturally, I would urge all the Midwesterners in the ATL to reach out to you directly and tap in. Reach out to me.
Like I said, I am friendly. So yeah, you're not gonna get left on red unless you're disrespectful. That's different. But other than that, reach out to me.
No, Angie, Larry and I thank you so much for sitting in. You always have a seat here on the show with Larry and myself. Please keep us up to date, keep us tapped in with you and the movement. If for any reason you're in Houston and you're hosting an event or making an appearance, please let us know, because we would like to support you and urge everyone in our audience to support you as well. I want to thank you again, Queen. I know how busy it is on Thursdays, especially in the lunch hour. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Larry, I'm sure thanks you as well. So if you ever need anything, please reach out to us. Is there anything you'd like to say to our audience in closing, Angie?
Oh, I do have books, ladies. I do have books. My latest book, of course, is How to Be F'd Up. Like, listen, I go in. If any of you all know how I talk, I lay it all out on the line in that book. And that, again, you can get from angiology.com, just right in the books section. So absolutely. My other books are there too, but I have been promoting that one heavily because that's just the movement that I'm on right now. We have to remain feminine, fierce, and fit. I mean, you know, so all good things when it comes to being effed up.
Hey, no, thank you so much, Queen.
I love it.
I urge everyone, go to angiology.com, click on the books link, get that book, edify yourself, build yourself up, and learn how to best maximize yourself personally and professionally. So
That's right.
Angie, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
And there it is, Mr. Brooks.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was definitely fun.
My hat's off to you, brother, man. Her energy and everything that she was willing to share as a businesswoman and an entrepreneur, I'm sure is something that everyone in our audience can take some of those best practices from. One of the great things is it also shows the true value of your networking relationships. Yeah. So a big, huge shout out to everybody over at Urban CEO. Miss the Queen Avant over there. Big, huge shout out. Prime Real Estate Network alumni, man. You know, it's Thursday. It's starting to get hot out here in the city.
It is.
But weather's supposed to be better this weekend. What's going on this weekend in the world of the Texas Real Estate King? Are you going to be out and about, mixing and mingling? And for members of our audience, will there be any opportunity to interact with Mr. Larry W. Brooks?
You know, that's a great question, man. I don't know right now, you know, honestly, because I had the luxury of taking the Memorial Day weekend and just really relaxing. I didn't do anything. I didn't eat barbecue. I didn't go out and party. I just literally hung back and thought about myself. So I hit the gym, did some work, rest. Hit the gym, did some work and rest. So with that being said, I like the way that felt. And so I'll probably be trying that again this coming weekend.
Hey, look, man, big, huge shout outs. Of course, we want to urge everyone to stay physically fit, man, because your health is your wealth. Yeah. And we want everybody here in the Prime Real Estate Network audience to keep themselves in as good a shape as possible. So I want to thank you so much for sitting in. Everyone in the audience, I want to thank you so much for tuning in on behalf of myself, Ric Davis, and the Texas Real Estate King, a.k.a. Larry's dad. We want to urge everybody in the audience to tune in next week at this same time. And until next week, I want to urge everyone in the Prime Real Estate Network audience to be safe and be blessed. Yes.